Today's thing will be in reference to Dr. Paul Krugman's article in the New York Times, Friday, November 7th, 2014, The Triumph of the Wrong. I think the basic genesis of Dr. Krugman's article is that because the Republicans did win and did win convincingly, that really means that we should be looking closer at the policies that they are going to present. Closer at them, not sort of let them get by just because they had a big majority. He then goes into, and especially when he goes in and talks about the fact that, they got a lot of nutty people on that side. He mentions Paul Ryan as one of them, basically, who is a snake oil salesman who basically throws out some really, really outlandish bills that would call for the complete elimination of a number of federal departments. He won't say that. He'll just say that this is what we have to do to reduce the deficit. And of course, Dr. Krugman goes back in again and says that, there are a number of things that even though the Republicans have been elected convincingly in 2014, the number of things that they have been getting wrong consistently, without any doubt, since 2008 and 2009. And let's go into the first one. The first one is the economy. Of course, the Republican triumph basically goes back to the fact that they're going to keep saying that the power of the marketplace, the magic of the marketplace, that the market can do wrong, that the government needs to get out, the government needs to stop the regulation, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, well, again, that has been proven wrong time and time again, that there needs to be regulation. Now, in terms of the things that the Republicans have really talked about, number one, they kept on saying that the fault of the economy really, when it went down in 2008 and 2009, was the result of bad government. No, it was the result of government not stepping up enough and enforcing the rules that should have been enforced at that particular point in time. It was not the fault of bad government. It was the fault of a private sector run wild. So what were the things that have gone on since then that the Republicans have advocated that have just never come about? And let's go with the first one, and that is the economy. What are the things that they've been advocating? Oh, that there is just going to be deficits as far as the eye can see. Well, we know that deficits have come down. All right. Number two, what is that there's there's going to be high inflation, and there's going to be high interest rates. And guess what? Neither of those things ever happened. They kept on saying, oh, you can't give easy money. You can't keep interest rates down. You can't keep doing your quantitative easing because that's going to drive interest rates up, and that's going to drive whatever. I can't think of it right now. So what's the second thing that they've gotten wrong consistently all the way through? Well, that's the Affordable Care Act, which came in 2010. Oh, there won't be enough people enrolling. Oh, there'll be only sick people will be enrolling, and therefore the companies can't make any money, and they'll die of their own little death spiral because they won't be able to pay out based on that. So a number of things, and of course all of the hysteria that they had when it was coming in, and then the rollout, which wasn't that good. But where are we now, November 7th, 2014? Enrollments are close to 10 million, I believe. All right? It has actually helped reduce the increase in the rate of the rate of increase in medical costs. So when medical costs were going up 10, 11, 12, 13% a year, whatever it was, I don't know what it was, now it's considerably less. Is it still going up? Yes. Is it still going up faster than inflation? Yes, but it is not nearly as high as it was when before the Affordable Care Act came in. And we know that people are getting, and there's a greater percentage of people who are now uninsured. Much fewer. There are fewer people uninsured than there ever have been in a long time. All right, and there could be a lot more people who would be uninsured if we could get Medicaid in a lot of these other states, or if the Republicans would do it in the other states. So in spite of the Republicans trying everything to ruin the Affordable Care Act, it has actually done well, and it still has an opportunity to continue to do well if it can work in the other states. Okay, what's another thing? So that was the economy, that was the Affordable Care Act, and the other thing, which could be the most important thing for my children's lifetime, and that is the environment. What's going to happen in terms of global warming? The Republicans were, in a sense, looking at global warming very seriously up to about 2008. I'm not saying that they were ready for a lot of policy initiatives. I'm not ready to say that they were going to do things, but they were looking at it very seriously and indicating that it is something that does need to be addressed. And of course, Newt Gingrich let the ball out long time ago when he said the reason why we're against global climate change is because that means the government has to take a big role. And many companies are wishing that the government would take a big role because they can't do it themselves. They need to stay competitive. So the government has to step in and say everyone needs to do this. So the Republicans were, I won't use the term on board, but they were very knowledgeable of and aware of and willing to look into global climate change up to about 2008. Then when Obama came in, down the tube. There's no global climate change, it's just a hoax. You know, all these scientists are in a cabal to just ruin the economy. You know, it's all against the economy, it's all against the marketplace, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, just last week or the week before, there was another definitive study indicating that we need to take action sooner rather than later. Meaning that if someone was going to die this weekend, I would say, oh, if you would like to say goodbye to this person, I would suggest you see that person sooner rather than later. And that's what they're saying about the environment. If we need to address it. Now, one of the things that they did indicate is if we do address it sooner, we can do it less expensively and we can get control of it quicker. But we are fast accelerating to a point where nothing we can do will stop it. So, again, sooner rather than later. And the Democrats have been up front saying we got to do stuff. Republicans have been wrong. Now, let's get back to the last part that Dr. Krugman talks about, and that is, oh, well, if they've been wrong about all this shit for so long, then why do we keep electing them? And Dr. Krugman brings into one salient feature of, I would say, the whole election itself, is where the now, leader of the Senate, Mitch McConnell, basically said that you could still have KNECT, which was the Kentucky Connect medical plan, which was backed by the Affordable Care Act. You could have that, but even though you were going to cut out the Affordable Care Act, as he said, root and branch, So he was just lying through his teeth. And Dr. Krugman again brings out a point. This is why it's very difficult in these in the midterms election to get people out. Is that unless you're really on top of this, you don't necessarily know exactly what Mitch McConnell was saying, because so many people, and I know this because I have kids, and I know the young kids out there, and they don't understand all of this stuff. They hear a couple things from Rush Limbaugh, they hear a couple things from Fox TV, they start repeating it, their friends start hearing it. They don't really know what's behind all of that, and it takes a little while to explain to them, and they don't want to take the time to listen to you to explain to them, because I'm an old man. So there's a lot of things. People aren't really involved in the policy issues, understand the policy issues, and can easily sway. The Republicans have known that forever. And that's why they do. That's why they talk the way they talk. All right? And, just make the one example was you say to a young person, well, why should you vote? Why the hell should I vote? I don't have a great job. None of my friends have great jobs. I don't see things going that well. We know the environment's going to tank and no one's doing anything about it. Why should I do it? What's the difference between this person and that person? Who cares? They're all crooks. That's the way they feel. So I understand all that. So we know that so things can change a lot by 2016, but what's going to happen between now and then? And Dr. Krugman just basically says, again, we need to understand that their policies have been wrong for a long time and continue to be wrong and will continue to be wrong. And just because they won a number of seats in the House and the Senate, we should be looking even more closely at what they're going to be enacting or voting on as opposed to less closely, because they will try to do more and more things to hurt the environment. And the basic premise of this whole thing is that they will do things that will help them, that will hurt the American people and hurt the environment.